Former Tourism Permanent Secretary Rebecca Nabutola, former Kenya Tourism Board boss Achieng Ongonga, and tour operator Duncan Muriuki became guests of the state after they were found guilty of conspiracy to defraud the government 8.9 million shillings in 2008.
The court has taken into account that the accused person had been entrusted with the management of public funds.
Nairobi Senior Principal Magistrate Lucy Nyambura promptly handed the three custodial sentences of between 3 and 7 years and fines of between 1 million and 17.8 million shillings for irregularly paying 8.9 million shillings to a tour firm owned by Muriuki for a tour to the Masai Mara by President Mwai Kibaki and top government officials in 2008. Nabutola, who was the top technocrat and accounting officer at the Tourism Ministry in 2008, before her sacking after the Masai Mara scandal, will serve 4 years in jail plus a 1 million shillings fine. Achieng Ongonga, the former Kenya Tourism Board Managing Director, whose exit from the parastatal was also triggered by the Masai Mara scam, will be in prison for 3 years and also pay a 1.5 million shillings fine. If he fails to pay the fine, he will be behind bars for an extra 2 years. The conviction of the two technocrats, according to experts and stakeholders in the fight against grand corruption, is a step in the right direction.
Well, I think it's a positive indication, but it may be too early to celebrate in the sense that such cases usually render themselves to appeal. And until an appeal has been heard and finalized, it is too early to say that this is a step forward.
But it is the conviction of tour operator Duncan Muriuki, whose firm was irregularly paid the 8.9 million shillings, that was the hallmark of the ruling. Muriuki bore the brunt of the Masai Mara scam and handed the longest jail term of the trio. He was sent behind bars for 7 years and in addition will be required to pay a 17.8 million shillings fine. If he defaults, he will be a guest of the state for an extra 3 years, a conviction that experts say sends the right signal in the fight against corruption.
And even when a public officer is charged and convicted, you have to ask yourself, where is the other side of the coin? And more often than not, that other side of the coin will be a private citizen or a business entity.
The trio has 14 days to appeal the court's ruling. The conviction of Nabutola, Ongonga and Muriuki could give impetus to the fight against corruption in the government. However, the fines they were handed could have been heftier if the anti-corruption law was applied to the full. The law provides that one can be fined up to 3 times the amount they are convicted of having tried to defraud the government. In this case, it was 8.9 million shillings, meaning the fine could have been in excess of 24 million shillings.
But the other side of it that is important for Kenyans to recognize is that a conviction could actually be the beginning of recovery proceedings.
The conviction of Nabutola, Ongonga and Muriuki came just a week after former Home Affairs PS Sylvester Mwaliko was handed a 3-year non-custodial sentence and fined 3 million shillings over the multi-billion shillings Anglo leasing scam. Francis Gashuri, Citizen Live at 9.